The second issue of IDW's prequel comic, Star Trek Picard Countdown, is upon us. Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Trek Central. Today we'll be looking at the second issue of the comic series Star Trek Picard Countdown. If you've not read the first issue, we highly recommend you do so, and just a heads up, this will obviously contain spoilers for both issues so far. A little notice, we are kind of late to this one, and I apologise for that. Unfortunately, the holiday season did get in the way, but don't worry, we're here to cover this issue nevertheless. Now let's warp in and see what this comic has in store for us. When we last left Jean-Luc Picard, he was imprisoned by Governor Shiana for threatening to halt the evacuation of the Romulans from the colony of Vineyard Beta. Picard had discovered that a native population of 5 million Uyatis also lived on a Romulan colony, and that the Romulans intended to leave them to die by the impending supernova. Now, the temporary alliance with the Romulans has been threatened, and the entire mission is in jeopardy. Issue 2 opens up on two Romulans on Vineyard Beta, Zebahan and Laris, the same two Romulans seen in Picard's vineyard at the beginning of the first issue of the series, and presumably the same Romulans we'll see in the upcoming show itself. They say they're going to risk everything for a human, eerily echoing their comments from the last issue that Picard eventually risked everything for them. We then cut to Picard and Governor Shiana at an awkward dinner. Picard asks where his first officer is, Raffi Musica, to which Shiana replies that the dinner is for leaders and not for mere underlings. Picard states that Raffi is not just an underling, showing some of his development from the next generation, where he only finally in the final All Good Things was able to socialise with his senior officers. I would love to think this is the case, however this is just nice to see, and hopefully we'll see JL's respect for Raffi in the show itself. I do like the fact the comic is eventually building up Raffi's character, as we know she's going to be a main character in the upcoming Star Trek Picard series, so it only just makes sense that more of her character is built up in this prequel comic. Picard and Shiana go back and forth trading insults and debating the morality of the situation. Picard viewing the Yati as sentient beings, and Shiana viewing them as simple natives. As Picard leaves the table, fed up with the governor, an explosion rocks the dinner party. The Romulans believe the attack is from Starfleet, but in reality it's a rescue attempt by the Yati. As Picard makes his escape, he rescues his imprisoned first officer. When Raffi asks what's going on, Picard replies the stalemate is over. Jean-Luc, Raffi and the Yati make a daring escape and eventually make their way to the outskirts of the colony, while watching both the fire engulf not only the palace but also the vineyard, which must really hurt Picard considering his glee from the first issue upon seeing the beautiful vineyard. They are eventually brought to a cave entrance and find Romulan Zebahan and Laris. They are escorted to a sacred place to the Yati, a cave where the waterfalls flow upside down. Yet another parallel in the story Star Trek Insurrection, in which Picard puts his career on the line to help a native race who inhabit a fantastical world where the rules of nature seem to not apply. Zebahan and Laris then reveal themselves as agents of a secret Romulan intelligence agency, the Tal Shiar. They reveal that they allowed the Yati revolt to happen and want to help Picard and Musica. The Tal Shiar has been featured throughout Star Trek and is always plotting and deceiving. I wonder if the Tal Shiar may still be around in Star Trek Picard after the Hobus supernova. I have a feeling they are, given what's already been told about the series, but we'll be chatting more about that in an upcoming video all about the Tal Shiar and what they might be doing in Star Trek Picard. Now Jean-Luc having former agents working his vineyard is a nice little detail, and again I can't wait to see how that unfolds in the upcoming show. We learned that on their first assignment, the two Romulans were sent to Vineyard Beta to monitor the fragile peace. They fell in love and defected on behalf of the natives to prevent a plot by the Romulans to sabotage Picard's mission and gain control of his starship, which is the USS Verity. Picard and Musica are wary of Zebahan and Laris' claims, but eventually decide to trust them, seeing no other alternative. Following the attack, Governor Shiana then contacts Lieutenant Newton aboard the USS Verity, requesting evacuation after the attack. Most importantly, however, she claims that Picard and Musica are dead. Lieutenant Newton offers to help and beams Shiana and her men aboard. Another neat little detail is that the Odyssey bridge has a transporter pad on it, meaning no longer does the captain have to take a turbolift just to reach the transporter. I suppose this could come in real handy for site-to-site transports and also for quick away teams. I like it. Lieutenant Newton is skeptical of the governor's claim that Picard and Musica were killed, sending an away team down to investigate their disappearance. The lieutenant allows Shiana to use the captain's ready room to contact the Romulan Senate. However, Shiana's story is still a ruse. Atheus, Major Domus to Shiana, enters a command override and seizes control of the starship, locking out Lieutenant Newton. After realizing that the command override was successful, Shiana says that she and Atheus will have to thank our benefactors if we ever get to meet. This could mean Picard and mocking that they have his starship, or someone that is highly familiar with Federation vessels if they were able to retrieve a code that could control an entire ship so quickly. Perhaps the Tal Shiar mole is operating within Starfleet, or someone from Starfleet has directed to aid the Romulans. The Romulans were never known to have many allies throughout Star Trek, so to show they're now working with someone that shares their interest in undermining a Federation is highly suspicious. Shiana believes Starfleet's goal from the beginning was to undermine the Romulan Empire under the guise of the evacuation. Now, with the USS Verity under the clutches of Shiana, Picard and Musica are stranded on Uyat Beta with no hope of escape. While this plot-heavy issue was not as groundbreaking as the first issue, it did provide a crucial setup for what would be the final issue of the comic. With Picard's ship commandeered and the fate of 5 million souls on the line, the stakes are higher than ever. However, it's hard to imagine how just one short issue will explain Picard's exile from Starfleet. From the trailers for Star Trek Picard, we know this mission's conclusion will somehow change Picard forever. Perhaps a supernova will erupt early and Picard will have to choose the fate of his crew over the fate of Uyati. Or perhaps when Picard presumably regains control over the Verity, Starfleet will be apathic to the fate of Uyati, disheartening from his career. Or perhaps we won't find out until the full story of Star Trek Picard premieres this month. So that wraps up our breakdown and review of the second issue of Star Trek Picard Countdown. I have to say I am loving this comic book series so far, and I personally cannot wait to read the third and final issue coming up very soon. Hopefully it wraps up this story very nicely, and I can't wait to see how it ties into Star Trek Picard. The story is truly heating up, and we can't wait to see how Picard will regain control of the Verity and save the native people on the colony. It can only be answered in the final issue of Star Trek Picard Countdown, which will be hitting store shelves sometime in January 2020. Currently there is no confirmed date, as the previous date of January 15th has now been moved to January 29th. We'll keep you updated via social media. If you do want to keep up to date with all things Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to subscribe to Trek Central here on YouTube. You can also follow our social media, visit our website, or join our brand new community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thank you for watching, and I will, of course, see you next time. Live long and prosper.